Manalangin po tayo. Dakilang Panginoon Diyos, may-ari ng sanlibutan, pinupuri namin ang iyong pangalan. Kami nagpapasalamat sa panalangin at gabay na ibinigay mo sa amin. Salamat sa panibagong araw na ipinagkaloob mo. Salamat din sa pagkakataon na ibinigay mo upang kami ay muling magtipon para sa panibagong kaalaman. Kami po ay humihiling na nawa po ay gabayan mo po kami sa aming pag-aaral at bigyan mo po kami ng makalangit na kaalaman at lakas upang kami ay matuto. At nawa po ang lahat ng aming matutunan ay magamit namin sa pagtulong sa aming kapwa. Patawarin mo po kami sa aming mga kasalanan at nawa po ang lahat ng aming gagawin ay maging alinsunod sa iyong kautusan. Ang lahat ng ito ay aming sinasamo sa ngalan ng aming Panginoong Hesus. Amen. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng mga kadete nationwide from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Welcome po sa continuation natin sa discussion under the subject Fire Technology and Arson Investigation. Andito na po tayo sa episode 2. Sa mga baguhan pa lang, especially yung mga non-criminology graduates who are opting to take the Fire Officer Examination, kindly view yung episode 1 po natin. Andun po yung preliminary discussion sa mga preliminary topics po sa subject. Okay? Sa mga self-review naman, I hope you can view all the videos that we have sa YouTube channel po natin. At least this will guide you. At the same time, pag nakapag-avail po kayo sa Bicueno book, pag nakapag-avail po kayo, you will be guided more. Kasi while you are reading the Bicueno book, at least you are also listening to the discussion and you can jot down notes while you are listening. Alright? So maraming salamat po sa nag-avail po ng Bicueno book. Now, without further ado, continue po natin yung discussion. Andito na po tayo sa types of heat transmission. Sa hindi po criminology graduates, makinig po kayo ng maigi sa magtitake ng Fire Officer Examination na hindi criminology sa undergrad. O, ganito po, may 4 po tayong types of heat transmission. Ibig sabihin ng transmission, yung pagpasa. Right? Pag-transmit ng heat from one medium to the other. 4 po yan. Conduction, radiation, convection, flame contact. Napaka-easy pong i-understand yung flame contact. Ano ibig sabihin ng flame contact? Yung direct contact ng medium to the flame, pag kahoy yan, the moment it has direct contact with the flame, ano mangyari sa kahoy? It can cause pyrolysis or yung burning. Ma-decompose yung solid matter niya. Yung katawan mo, if you will put, pag mag-i-experiment ka ngayon, you will light a candle. The moment the candle has a flame, ilagay mo yung ano mo, yung kamay mo sa flame. Oh, that's basically flame contact. Ang conduction, gumamit po yan, ang pag-transmit po ng heat is through the use of a conductor. A conductor can be a medium or an object. It could be a metal, a pipe, or even a wall. Diba? So makikita nyo po sa picture natin sa slide, ang conduction dyan is when you hold the handle of the pot. The pot that is filled with water. Kasi po, ang nangyari po dito, the pot is exposed to the burning fire. Ang purpose nito is to boil the water. So once you put the pot on the fire, the water will boil. Yung water po will transform from liquid into gas. Because the pot has direct contact with the flame, ang mangyari po dyan, kasi yung pot po natin is metal, yung heat will travel through the metal and then towards the handle. Okay? Yung handle is not in contact directly with the flame. But if you hold it, the handle is hot. Bakit po siya hot? Kasi po, ang handle is a conductor. In the same manner, pag gumamit ka ngayon ng sandok, sandok tapos nagluluto ka, di ba yung tip portion niya is mainit? Pero yung tip portion has never been in contact directly with the flame. Pero bakit uminit siya? Kasi po, yung sandok is basically a conductor. Or, last example. Let's say a metal rod. Ilagay mo yung metal rod sa burning furnace. Pag nagiging red hot yung metal rod, ano mangyayari? Di ba yung tip portion maging mainit din po? Di ba nagtatransmit siya from the burning furnace to the edge of the metal rod. The metal rod is a conductor. So, the heat transmission that is happening in that situations is what we call as conduction. Okay? Sa mga criminology graduates, ito, marami ang nako-confuse between conviction and radiation. Conviction and radiation. Napakadali lang naman mga kadete. Ang conviction, di ba sa example, may boiling pot, may water. Di ba the moment the pot is in contact with the flame, the heat will travel to the metal and it can cause the water to boil. Pag nagbo-boil yung water, ano ang mangyayari? Di ba ang liquid matter na water will transform or will transition into a gas matter, right? Nag-evaporate yan. So, pag nag-i-experiment ka, the moment it will evaporate, ilagay mo nga yung kamay mo sa gas, sa liquid gas na nag-i-evaporate, di ba mainit yan? Napakainit. Ang singaw po ng tubig is mainit yan from boiling water. So, yung singaw po ng tubig, yung liquefied gas from the water, tapos has in contact with whatever medium, it could be your hand or whatever kind of material, ang pag-transmit po ng heat dyan is what we call as convection. So, nagtatravel yung heat by means of a liquid gas. Pero sa radiation, it's not about the liquid gas. Pag tumindig ka ngayon, 1 foot or probably 2 feet from a burning fire, di ba you can still feel the heat? Right? You can still feel even, for example, pag malaki po yung apoy, tapos you will be standing, let's say 1 meter na lang, or 2 meters, or 3 meters, tapos malaki yung apoy. Di ba you can still feel the heat? Question, nagtatravel ba yung heat by means of a liquefied gas? The answer is no. But rather, the heat travels by means of the air. Okay? Air po yung ginagamit, traveling from the burning furnace towards your position, let's say 2 meters away from the burning fire. But still, you can feel the heat. Kasi po, nagtatravel yung fire by means of, nagtatravel yung heat by means of the air. Ang tawag po dyan, radiation. Okay? Klaro po? Conduction, gumamit ng conductor. It could be a pipe, it could be a metal, pwede din pong wall. Radiation, nagtatransmit, nagtatravel yung heat by means of the air. Pero pag ang air at tinatawag dyan, liquid gas na, yung liquid gas na nagtatravel, causing another medium to be heated, ay convection yan. The moment a material has in direct contact with the fire, tawag po dyan, flame contact. Sunod, intindihin po natin ang fire behavior, causes, and classification. Ang sabi po, fire behavior could be understood by taking a look sa principles po ng thermal balance at saka yung thermal imbalance. Ano ba yung thermal balance? Balance po siya pag ang fire po, yung behavior niya is left undisturbed. Ibig sabihin, the moment a certain fire is having its progress, wala pong foreign material na nag-i-intervene. Okay? Yung thermal balance po is also defined as the rising movement of the pattern of the fire. So again, sa thermal balance, nothing intervenes. For example, if you are burning firewood, talagang walang foreign material na nag-i-intervene dyan. It's just firewood that is burning. So, the normal pattern of behavior is basically thermal balance. Pero pag nadi-disturb siya kasi may introduction of a foreign material, for example, yung fire mo po from the firewood, nilagyan mo ng plastic, di ba? Or nilagyan mo ng rubber, or probably petroleum products such as gasoline, diesel, or whatsoever. Ibig sabihin, may intervention po, may interference ng foreign matter. In that case, magiging thermal imbalance na. So, kung thermal balance, meaning normal behavior or normal movement ng fire or normal pattern ng fire. Pero sa thermal imbalance, ibig sabihin abnormal. Abnormal yung movement, abnormal yung behavior ng fire kasi po may nag-i-intervene, may nag-i-interfere ng foreign matter. Thermal imbalance mga kadete po, ito po ang nagko-confuse sa mga fire investigator sa pag-determine po ng exact point where the fire originated. Okay? Next, dangerous behavior of fire. Ito lumabas ito sa board examination mga kadete, backdraft. Okay? Ano ba yung backdraft? It's just basically a sudden form of explosion. Nag-i-explode. Bakit nag-i-explode? Kasi po, nag-i-explode siya kasi may mga radical gases. Ano ba yung mga radical gases? As what we have discussed in the previous episode. Dito mga radical gases, yung mga gases that are combustible. Okay? Yung gases po that could be subjected to burning. Ang nangyari po kasi dito, may confined area. Right? Confined area po. Meaning, yung hangin po hindi makakapasok. Kasi confined nga eh. Confined area. Of course, the air could not easily penetrate through. So, may mga heated gas in a confined room. Tapos, suddenly, in just a quick moment, the heated gas inside the confined room is combined or is mixed directly with oxygen. Heated na nga siya. Remember, tatlo po yung elements po natin ha, yung heat, yung oxygen, at saka yung fuel. May fuel na, may mga combustible gases na. Tapos may heat na, kulang lang sa oxygen. So the moment oxygen could penetrate through, there might be a possibility that the penetration of the sufficient oxygen could actually cause the heated gas inside the room to explode. Ang tawag po dyan, backdraft. Okay? Pangalawa, flash over at saka yung flash fire. Ha? Ibig sabihin ng flash over, ang definition po dito, it is the sudden ignition of accumulated radical gases produced where there is incomplete combustion of fuels. When accumulated volume of radical gases suddenly burns, there will be a very intense fire that is capable of causing flames to jump at a certain distance in the form of a fireball. Okay? Anong pinagkaiba ng backdraft at saka yung flashover? Sa backdraft, confined room, may heated gas. The moment yung heated gas is mixed with sufficient oxygen, ano mayari? Explosion. Pag nag-i-explode siya, there might be a possibility na may mangyayari din pong flashover. Ano ba yung flashover? Ang flashover po is jumping or traveling of the fire at a certain distance by means of a fireball. Okay? So, let us say, nangyari yung explosion dito, tapos, let us say, 100 meters, may fireball po that was traveling from the burning building towards a certain area, 100 meters for example. So yung fireball po niyan is an example of flashing over of the fire. Okay? Ang flash fire naman, hindi po siya flash over. Okay? Kasi ang flash fire po, mangyayari po ito when a certain metal po is hit by lightning. Okay? Ang metal po kasi natin, may mga dust particles yan at the top, covering the metal. And once it is hit po by the lightning, yung dust particles could actually burn. Okay? Ang tawag po nito, dust explosion. Right? Dust explosion po. So, ang tawag dyan, flash fire. On the other hand, bite back naman, a fatal condition that takes place when the fire resists extinguishment operation and becomes stronger and bigger instead. For example, pag gasoline, di ba? Mag-bite back yan pag tubig yung, di ba? So many cases that we can see in different videos. yung mga, there are certain individuals na nagkasunog, tapos ang fuel na naging combustible is yung petroleum products such as gasoline, nilagyan ng tubig. Of course, it will bite back. Kasi there are also certain cases that even the fire officers will do a lot of will employ a lot of fire extinguishment techniques, but then again, the fire tends to bite back. So naging bite back siya because instead of extinguishing it, ang nangyari, it's opposite. Nagiging bigger instead. Bite back po ang tawag. Now, there are 3 stages of fire mga kadete, especially yung mga takers sa FOE na non-criminology graduates. 3 po ang stages natin sa fire. Una po, beginning or incipient phase. Pareho lang po yan beginning or incipient phase. Yan po ang una, initial stage of fire po yan. Yung free burning phase, yung nasusunog yung structure or material within the presence of adequate oxygen. The moment the flame will pacify, nawala na yung flame, ang nag-remain are fire gases or smoke na lang, nasa smoldering phase na po. Pang-last po yan, that's the final phase of burning. Okay? Now, ang fires po are basically classified into 3 general classification. 1, according to cause. Pangalawa, according to the burning fuel. Sa cause, 3. Natural. Natural, ibig sabihin, the fire is basically made or is a product of a natural phenomenon or a phenomena. For example, volcanic eruption or probably lightning. Di ba? Lightning that will strike a material that can cause the material to be burning. It's natural fire. Forest fire that is caused by lightning or volcanic eruption, that's basically an example. Those are examples of natural fire. Accidental, dito papasok yung mga apoy or yung fire that is caused by accident. Without motive, without intent or malice, you created burning on a certain building. For example, hindi mo ginusto but there is lapses, nagka-short circuit yung electrical wirings or yung overarching ng 2 electrical wirings that can cause fire. It's an example of accidental fire. Yung arson, dito papasok yung intentional fire. Okay? Ang arson nasa intentional fire yan. Now, based on the burning fuel, A, B, C, D, K po tayo. We do not adapt yung sa European classification. A, B, C, D, K po. Sa mga FOA takers, makinig po ng maigi. Makinig po ng maigi. A, B, C, D po yan A, B, C, D, K. Now, isa-isahin po natin. Ano ba yung Class A fire? Ang Class A fire po, ito po yung mga combustible na mga materials that made of fiber. For example, yung plastics, yung firewoods, yung papers, puro po yan. Lahat ng mga na-mention na while ago, mga Class A po. Pag nasunog yung plastics, nasunog yung, let us say, yung firewood, that's the fire that is created by these materials are examples of what we call as Class A fire. Sa Class B po, ito po yung mga petroleum products. Ano ba yung mga petroleum products natin? Di ba? Gasoline, dieselin, kerosene, di ba? Mga petroleum products yan. So long as it is a product of petroleum, ang fire po na na-create dyan is Class B fire po. Sa Class C naman, ito yung mga electrical wirings, yung mga appliances na nasusunog. Mga electrical wirings basically na nasusunog. Parte po yan ng Class C fire. Ano naman yung Class D? Class D po, ito yung mga combustible metals. Yung alloy, aluminum na masusunog po. Class D po siya. Okay? Class K on the other hand, ito yung pinaka-latest, would refer to kitchen fires. Yung makikita po natin sa kusina. Like when you put cooking oil and then it suddenly burns, it's part of what we call as Class K. Class K fire po. Alright? Bakit po fires are classified according to burning fuel? Kailangan po i-classify dyan kasi po in every classification po, iba po ang specific extinguishing method that is only applicable in that classification. May mga extinguishing strategy po tayo that can only be applicable by a particular to a particular classification of fire. For example, pag yung fire extinguishment yung fire extinguisher ng class A dapat hindi gagamitin sa class B, yung mga ganyan, okay? So later on we will discuss more on that. All right, now let us go to based on the cause. Natural fire. Spontaneous heating, this refers to automatic chemical reaction that results to spontaneous combustion due to autoignition of organic materials, the gradual rising of heat until ignition temperature is reached. So ano ba yung spontaneous? Spontaneous heating, automatic chemical reaction. Ang automatic chemical reaction, nagre-resulta po siya ng diretsong combustion. Diretsong combustion due to auto-ignition of organic materials. Number 2, lightning, a form of static electricity, a natural current with a great magnitude producing tremendous amperage and voltage. A lightning may be in the form of hot bolt. Yung hot bolt, longer in duration, capable only of igniting combustible materials. Matagal yung hot bolt. Pangalawa, cold bolt, mas mabilis. Shorter in duration, capable of splintering a property or literally blowing apart an entire structure, produces electrical current with tremendous amperage and very high temperature. Mabilis nga siya, but it can cause a lot of destruction. Radiation of sunlight, when sunlight hits a concave mirror, concentrating the light on a combustible material, thereby igniting it. Ano ba ibig sabihin? Ano ba ibig sabihin ng radiation of sunlight under this definition? Di ba, there are instances when we were still in high school or elementary that we used to play a magnifying lens. Tapos yung ginawa natin sa magnifying lens, we expose it under the rays of the sun. Tapos yung rays of the sun will be converged into one single point. And sometimes we took our sleepers, tapos nag-experiment tayo. We burn our sleepers by use of magnifying glasses. Yung rays of the sun are converged in one spot, and that one spot is influenced by a lot of heat. Marami pong heat because na-converge nga yung rays coming from the sun. So, it can cause burning. In the same manner, yung rays po ng sunlight, pag na-reflect po siya sa concave mirror, there's a big possibility that the rays of light will be converged in one particular spot. That can cause burning if it hits a particular material. Okay? So, yun po, radiation of sunlight. Again, yung radiation po is basically part po yan sa police photography na topic. Kindly refer to police or forensic photography to know more about radiation. Next, types of natural cover. First, ground. Pangalawa, surface. Pangatlo, crown. And number 4, we have the so-called spot fire. So, pag ground fires, ibig sabihin, undergrowth of the fires. Ibig sabihin, nagta-travel siya within the ground level or below the surface. Pag surface, nasa surface talaga. For example, burning over the grass or weeds and grain, brush and shrubs, surface fire po. Pero pag ground fires naman, wala siya sa surface ng mga grasses or weeds, kundi nasa taas po siya. Yung for example, leaves ng trees or yung leaves ng banana. Ground fires po ang tawag. Ang spot fires on the other hand is a kind of fire that started in advance of the head. Ibig sabihin, spot fire siya kasi po, yung body ng fire is still at the point A. Nasa point A pa lang. Pero may nag-a-advance. Especially yung mga embers po ng fire will travel to a distance. Tapos, it can cause an advanced fire. from a distance. That advanced fire is an example of a spot fire. Now, to better understand, nilagyan ko po ng example, mga pictures po ito. Now, ito first po is ground fire po yan. Then, yung burning po sa grass or yung sa weeds, surface fire po. Pero pag ang burning po nasa taas sa mga leaves po ng trees, ground fire po. Pag nagsa-start siya in advance. So as you can see, may mga tatlo po tayo, di ba? Makikita nyo tatlo. That are circular, semicircular in shape na nag-a-advance po sa main body of the fire. Ang nag-a-advance po, tawag po niyan spot fire. Okay? Next, parts of natural cover fire. Okay, tatlo po ito mga kadete head, tail, at saka yung flanks. Right? Head, tail, at saka yung flanks. Ang head po, you can actually identify it by taking a look kung saan po yung portion ng fire that is advancing progressively in a fast manner. So, yung point po ng fire, yung part po ng fire that is progressing faster, yan po ang tinatawag nating head. Okay? On the other hand, yung withdraw or upward portion of the fire is called the tail. Okay? Tail po ang tawag. Now, let us say for example sa figure po natin, sa picture po. Let us say the direction of the wind is towards this direction, towards this particular tree. Makikita nyo po on this portion, yung fire po is progressively burning faster. Ito po ay tinatawag nating head. At the opposite direction po, dyan po makikita nyo po ang tail. Yan po ang withdraw or upward portion po ng fire. Yung parte po, lahat ng portions between the head and the tail, tawag po dyan flanks. Okay? Yung area again, between the head and the tail, ang tawag po dyan flanks. Alright? I hope naintindihan po. Now, pag may mangyayari pong natural fire, may mga methods po tayo of extinguishment. Una po nito, sectional method. Now, sa sectional method, una nating tandaan, gagamitin lang po ito pag ang fire is considered to be slow-moving. Okay? Slow-moving fire pangalawa. Gagamitin ang sectional method pag marami ka pong manpower or marami kang equipment. For example, let us say yung BFP station mo comprises of 30 personnel or maybe 20 personnel, which is very impossible sometimes, di ba? Pag maraming manpower, you do sectional method. And when the fire is slow-moving, you do sectional method. Kasi po sa sectional method, what you are going to do is you divide the whole the total population of personnel, you will divide them into different units. And then you will assign them one unit to be assigned at a specific section of the fire line. The other units will be assigned on the other fire line. The other unit will be assigned on the other section. So basically, nag-a-assign ka ngayon. Dinidivide mo yung parte ng fire. Yung fire line na progressing faster, yung sa head, siguro doon yung maraming fire truck. One team for this section. Yung sa tail portion, maliit lang yung fire truck, you could probably assign another unit. So, the bottom line is, pag marami tayong manpower at saka marami tayong equipment, we can use sectional method. And if the fire is slow-moving. One lick method on the other hand is opposite. Dito, ang tauhan natin is medyo limited. One lick kasi po, all you have to do is to employ the team at a specific section and you have to work extinguishing the fire in that section. So yun po, one lick yan. It is the fastest and easiest method to use on a running fire pag mabilisan po. A team is placed at the location designated as the fire line and ordered to work in a specific section. Ang tawag po dyan, one lick method. Another po na ginagamit sa pag-extinguish, pag natural cover fire po yan. fire breaks. Ano mang fire breaks, from the word breaks, nagka-break siya kasi po, kinuha mo yung fuel in that particular area. Alright? The fire could no longer advance to the other section kasi po ubos na naubos na. So ano ang gagawin para maubos para kunin yung fuel in that section? What you do is you will construct road. Alright? You will do clearing operation of all the fuels in a certain area. O gawa ka ngayon ng highways, survey lines, cleared areas. Of course, the fire could not penetrate to the other side kasi nga po wala ng fuel. Okay? Fire breaks po ang tawag dyan. Pangapat po, itong backfire. Ano ba ang backfire? From the word back. Backfires are employed to burn back toward the advancing heads, thus creating a fast break and stopping the fire because of a lack of fuel. Ginagamit po ito sa Negros Oriental. May mga portion po kasi dito. Negros Oriental is basically an agricultural province. May mga municipalities po, especially in our municipality, na sinusunog po yung tubo during the process of harvesting. Kasi po, ang tubo kasi, yung sugarcane po, consists of a very itchy. We call it in Cebuano as dapaw. It's an itchy kind of stuff that is present on a sugarcane. So para mawala yung itchy stuff na yan, some of the municipalities, especially in our municipality po, sinusunog po yung sugarcane before harvesting para mas convenient. So what we do is fire breaks. For example, if nasa point A po yung head ng fire, tapos advancing towards point B, para hindi siya makaabot sa point B, sunugin mo na yung point B. At saka, yung fire from point B will be meeting the fire coming from point A. So, they will be meeting at the center. So, when they meet at the center, the fire could no longer advance because again, wala na yung fuel na-consume na when you do a backfire. So, that is also one of the most effective method po in extinguishing natural fire. Okay? Now, punta tayo sa accidental cause. Okay? Ano ba yung accidental fire? Ito po yung mga apoy that results from probably negligence or maybe just mere accident. Okay? For example, we have electrical accidents. Nag-overarching yung dalawang electrical wires. Or probably nagka-short circuit. Or especially yung mahilig sa octopus connection dyan, napakaliit ng wire, nilagyan ng maraming, yung napakaliit ng watt, tapos nilagyan ng maraming appliances, nilagyan ng, doon naka-plug in yung ref, naka-plug in doon yung aircon, naka-plug in doon yung rice cooker, nako, it can cause fire. Kasi po yung material po, yung electrical wire po, will have to depend po kung anong appliance po ang ginamit po natin. So, electrical accidents in the form of short circuit, unusual or accidental connection between two points at different potentials, or arcing. This is what I mentioned a while ago. The production of sustained luminous electrical discharge between separated electrodes. An electric hazard that results when electrical current crosses the gap between two electrical conductors. Especially yung hindi maayos na paglagay ng electrical tape. Tapos nag-overarching yung dalawa. It can cause fire. Sparking, production of incandescent particles when two different potentials, charged conductors, come in contact occurs during short circuit or welding operations. Next, induced current. Induced line surge, increased electrical energy flow or power, voltage, sudden increase of electrical current resulting to burning of appliances. Kaya po ang mga electrical cooperatives are suggesting that the moment nagka-burn out, you have to wait for several minutes muna. When the electricity is already up, you have to wait for several minutes before you turn on the switch. Kasi oversurge po ng power. Overheating of electrical appliances, for example, electric fans, or probably heater po natin, yung mga ganyan. Number 2, purely accidental causes. ano bang example ng purely accidental causes? Let us say, for example, nahulog or natumba yung poste natin containing the electrical wirings and it can cause fire. So it's purely accidental cause. Next, negligence and other forms of human error. Ano ba example ng negligence? Again, yung nag-harvest ng sugarcane, tapos alam na summer, and then the direction of the wind is towards the house, you do not have the intention to burn the adjacent house. Tapos sinunog mo yung sugarcane with the intention to harvest it to the point that eventually the fire conflagrated, napunta po sa adjacent house. So it's a form of negligence. Okay? Next, intentional cause. Number one, we have accelerant. Highly flammable chemicals that are used to facilitate flame propagation. A petroleum product could be gasoline, for example, could be an accelerant. Plant, the preparation and or gathering of combustible materials needed to start a fire. And trailer, the preparation of flammable substances in order to spread the fire. Okay? So, punta tayo sa mga classes of fires according to the burning fuel again. Na-mention ko na po ito kanina, so again, let me be fast in this one. Class A, ordinary combustibles. Andyan po yung example. Class B, petroleum products. C, live electrical equipments or wirings. D, combustible metals. Class K, commercial cooking equipment. Andyan na po ha. Na-discuss ko na po yan kanina. Alright? So yun po. Fire based on burning fuel. 5 lang po yan ha. A, B, C, D, K. So pag magtanong sa board examination, firewood, class A. Class A fire po siya. Gasoline, fire that is caused by burning gasoline. Class B po. Class B. Alright? Napaka-easy dyan. Next, firefighting operations and extinguishment. What is firefighting? Ito po ay activity intended to save lives and property. What is fire protection? Ito po ang mga methods used by the Bureau to stop, to extinguish, and control destructive fire for eventual prevention of loss and life and property. Next, fire prevention and suppression refers to the various safety measures utilized to stop or prevent harmful or destructive fires from starting. I don't have to discuss these terms. Napaka-understandable naman yan, mga kadete, ha? So, no need to expound. Next, factors affecting fire protection and control. Ano ba ang mga factors na maka-affect po sa pag-control, pag-protect against fire? Una, yung tinatawag nating fire hazard. What is an hazard? A hazard is basically an internal harm, okay? A danger is any condition or act that increases or may cause increase in the probability. Ano ba ito? Mga situations that could increase the potential of the probability, the potential of having fire occurrences, or which may obstruct, delay, hinder or interfere with firefighting operations and the safeguarding of life and property. For example, again, yung octopus connection po, it's an example of a fire hazard. Or probably, napakalaki ng building, for example, hotel. 20-story building po ang hotel. Ni isang fire extinguisher wala. Or you cannot even see a smoke detector. You cannot see a water sprinkler. Talagang wala. Ang fire extinguishers or yung mga building, mga kadete, na walang fire exit. That's part of fire hazard. Napakalaking building tapos walang fire exit. Nako, pag mayroong sunog, nako, ang mangyari, lahat patay po yung nasa loob. So, it's a form of fire hazard. Conditions of fire hazard, again, existence of dangerous or unlawful amount of combustible or explosives in the building not designed to store such materials. For example, sa bahay po natin, nag-store po tayo ng gasoline. Di ba? Sa Negros Oriental, di ba, may mga tindahan tayo that is not designed to sell gasoline. Pero again, may mga tindahan na nagsisell pa din po ng gasoline. Nagtitinda ng gasolina. Di ba? May mga motorista naman tayo na pumupunta sa mga tindahan ng mga ito kasi po mura. Di ba? But again, the store is not designed po sa pag-store ng gasolina. So, to whom it may concern, sa mga nakikinig ngayon from Negros Oriental. Defective or improperly installed facilities or equipment. Hindi po insakto yung pag-i-install. For example, hindi tama yung pag-install ng aircon, hindi tama yung pag-install ng refrigerator. Yung wirings po natin, hindi expert yung electrician. Lack of adequate exit facilities. Next, obstruction at fire escapes or other designated opening for firefighters. May fire exit ka nga, pero may obstruction naman. 'Di ba? For example, nilagyan mo ng tables or mga chairs o ginawa mong stock room. Yung fire exit, yung sa front niya parang naging stock room, doon mo nilagay yung lahat ng rubbish, mga garbage sa isang building. Obstructed. Dangerous accumulated of rubbish, waste, and other highly combustible materials, yung mga basura po natin that are very highly combustible, accumulation of dust in ventilation system or of grease in the kitchen, pwede din po yan. Building under repair, pwede din po. Very old building or building is primarily made of combustible materials. If you will compare yung simento na bahay at saka yung bahay made of wood or made of bamboo, you have to expect na yung made of bamboo is more prone to fire compared sa concrete po na bahay. Okay? Firefighting operations. May tatlong terms under this slide o na pre-fire planning. Ano ba itong pre? Pre ibig sabihin before. So ang pre-fire planning, from the word planning, meaning to foresee, okay? To plan the actions ahead. This activity involves developing and defining systematic course of actions that may be performed in order to realize the objectives of fire protection. Involves the process of establishing the standard of procedure in case fire breaks out. So sa pre-fire planning, wala pa ang nangyayaring fire. Pero naglagay ka na ng plano, yung mga procedure na dapat gawin pag mayroong fire incidents. Next, evaluation, size up, on the spot planning or sizing up. Ito may fire na. May fire incident na. So, nag-i-evaluate ka in order to find out, in order to assess what correct method of extinguishment that should be utilized in extinguishing the fire. This is the process knowing the emergency situation. It involves mental evaluation by the operation officer in charge to determine the appropriate course of actions that provides the highest probability of success. For example, kasi natural fire yan, tapos hindi mabagal yung progress ng fire, so you will say, based on my evaluation, we will use sectional method. Kasi may marami tayong manpower. Yung mga ganyan. So basically, in evaluation size up, andyan ka na po sa fire incident mismo. Andyan ka na sa lugar. And you evaluate, you analyze what would be the correct approach in extinguishing the fire. Next, evacuation. This is the activity of transferring people, livestock, blah, 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 blah. That's very understandable. Right? Next, rescue. Ano ba ang rescue? Operation of removing the saving people and other livestock from the burning building and other involved properties, conveying them to a secure place. So ano pa ang pagkakaiba ng evacuation at saka yung rescue? Sa evacuation, hindi pa affected yung mga tauhan, yung mga livestock, yung mga properties sa fire. Okay? Hindi pa. Evacuation pa. Kinuha. Hindi pa directly impacted by the fire. Pero sa rescue, andyan na yung fire. You are already affected with it. Nasa loob ka ng fire building and you need to be removed from the building and transfer you to a safe place. So rescue po ang tawag. Pero pag wala pa, for example, nangyari yung fire sa building 1, tapos nasa building 2 ka, there's a possibility that the fire will conflagrate sa building 2. Hindi pa naka-conflagrate, you are already ordered to move out from the building, ang tawag po doon is evacuation. Sa rescue, ibig sabihin, nasa building 1 ka, nagkasunog dyan, and then you have to be removed from that building. Rescue po ang tawag. Next, exposure. Also called cover, exposure. This is the activity of securing other buildings near the burning structure in order to prevent the fire from the extending to another building. That's very easy to understand. Next, confinement. This is the activity of restricting the fire at the place. Ibig sabihin, you contain the fire sa particular place where it started. The process of preventing fire from extending from another section or form from one section to another section of the involved building. So, anong pagkakaiba ng exposure at confinement? Exposure, ibig sabihin, you protect, you secure yung building na adjacent sa isang building that is on fire. Ang building that is on fire is building 1, you secure building 2. Sa confinement, pag ang apoy is nanggaling sa building 1, confinement, ibig sabihin, you contain the fire so that the fire will only remain at building 1 and it should not conflagrate to building 2. Okay? Next, ventilation. Ito, ventilation mga kadete. Ano ang purpose ng ventilation? The purpose of it is to remove the toxic gases out from the building. Salvage. Sa mga Pinoy, ibig sabihin ng salvage, pinatay. Di ba? Yun po ang definition natin. Pinatay, tapos dinala sa isang liblib na lugar, itinapon, salvage na. Mali po. Ang salvage, ibig sabihin dyan, protecting the properties from preventable damage other than the fire. When you protect a property from damage, we call it as salvage. Okay, to salvage, meaning you protect a certain property. For example, you put it in a cabinet or you put it in a fire-resistant cabinet, fire-resistant compartment, salvage. You salvage the documents. You salvage the equipment that you put inside. Next, extinguishment, putting out the main body of the fire. Overhaul. Ito, overhaul mga kanite, lubas ito sa board examination. Kailan ito nangyayari? After the fire is already extinguished, wala na, na-extinguish na siya. And you have to make a detailed check. Ano bang purpose ng detailed or kumpletong pag-check? I-check mo siya para to make sure na talagang hindi na mag-reflash, hindi na mag-spark again. Kasi there are a lot of cases, hindi kulang yung pag-check. Pag uwi ng mga pagbalik ng mga fire officer sa kanilang station, minutes after, nag-spark uli yung fire. Sunog uli. So, basically, it's a defective overhaul. So, sa overhaul po, dapat kumpleto detalye yan para to make sure na hindi na mag-spark or mag-reflash yung fire. Next, fire scene investigation. This is the final stage of fire suppression activities. Ito na po ang inquiry conducted to know or determine the origin or ang cause ng fire. Balik tayo sa ventilation mga kadete. I'd like to dwell on this. Supposedly this is not part of the TOS, but I'd like to dwell on this. Siguro lalabas din po ito sa FOE Ang ventilation po, ang purpose nito is to remove the smoke, yung toxic gases or yung combustible gases. Okay? Kasi po, pag ang gases po, combustible, heated po ang gases na sa loob ng confined room. Once oxygen will be mixed with it, or a little spark, ang mangyayari po is, it can cause backdraft. There are a lot of incidents, especially yung leak po ng ano ba tawag nito, yung gasol po natin, yung ginagamit po natin sa pagsaing. Probably you are using whatever kind of petroleum products or LPG. Whatever kind of liquefied petroleum products na ginagamit. It could be a gasol or it could be a shell, whatsoever. There are certain cases na magka-leak po yung container natin, di ba? Certain incidents happen, especially in Metro Manila, na napaka-crowded po. Pag nagli-leak po yan, remember, yung liquefied petroleum products po natin is basically in a gas form. Okay? Now, it will take, remember in episode 1 I mentioned to you, nakamix na po kasi dyan yung elements. All we need is a little spark. A little spark lang po that can cause fire. So pag may leak po sa loob ng bahay natin, tapos confined, close yung windows natin, close yung doors. The moment we open the door, especially when we turn on, probably yung light natin, it can actually cause explosion. Magka-backdraft yan. So, the point is, pag we smell something like a leakage sa LPG po natin, what we do is we do not turn on anything, we open the windows, we open the doors so that these gases will be removed from the building. So yun po dapat ang gagawin po natin. So may tatlo po tayong types of ventilation. Ang pag-remove po ng mga gases inside the building, ang tawag po diyan ventilation. Unang ventilation, itong vertical. Nagiging vertical siya kasi po ang ginawa ng fire officers is that they have to make a hole, they have to make an opening at the roof portion ng bahay or ng building. Kaya vertical siya. Pero pag ang opening na ginawa is sideways or yung sa door or probably yung sa windows. Pag inopen mo yung windows or yung wall, yung side wall po, ang tawag dyan is cross or horizontal ventilation. Pero pag roof, tawag dyan vertical. Pero yung side, windows, yung doors, o ginawan mo ng butas yung wall, ang tawag po dyan cross or horizontal ventilation. Pero, ang pinakamaigi nito, if you have the equipment, yung mechanical or forced ventilation, wherein you use a smoke ejector. Okay? Kasi po, fire gases, yung toxic gases or yung mga combustible gases in the building, these are lethal. Pag andyan yung occupants and inhaling these gases, that can cause asphyxia or that can cause for the person to experience death simply because the human body needs oxygen. Pag hindi oxygen yung na-inhale, pag mga toxic gases, of course, mamamatay yung tao. So, pag may smoke ejector, you do not have to open the roof. All you have to do is to put the smoke ejector and let the equipment do its job. Okay? So, mas maganda po, mechanical or forced ventilation. Ano ang ginagamit? Smoke detector po ang tawag. Alright? Next, another kind of equipment that could help extinguishing the fire. Ito, sprinkle system. Consists of a network of pipes installed throughout the building. The pipes carry water to nozzles in the ceiling. May ano po yan, may detector po yan. So the moment heat is detected, smoke is detected, automatic the sprinkler system will work on. So it could emit a lot of water that can actually delay or extinguish the fire. Next, smoke detector. Smoke detector is a device that sounds an alarm if a small amount of smoke enters their sensor. Now, lastly mga kadete, may mga 4 methods of fire extinguishment tayo. Makinig po ang mga non-criminology graduates. 4 po ito Una, cooling. By the way, balik muna tayo para mas maintindihan. Balik muna tayo sa fire triangle theory at saka yung sa fire tetrahedron. Sa fire triangle theory, anong sabi doon? May 3 tayong elements of fire. Number 1, oxygen, the oxidizing agent. Fuel, the reducing agent. And then the heat, the temperature or the energy. And the fire tetrahedral theory, ang sabi doon, yung 3 elements, dapat may pang-4 yan, yung chemical chain reaction. Ang chemical chain reaction will be the interaction with the 3 elements. Yung interaction ng mga 3 elemento can cause fire to be created. Yun po ang sabi ng fire tetrahedron. Okay, dyan po tayo magbase sa mga elements of fire. Sa cooling, yung element po that is absorbed is heat. Ano ang gagamitin sa cooling? Ang gagamitin na fire extinguisher is yung water. Ano purpose ng water? To absorb the heat. Pag wala na ang heat, ang remaining are oxygen and fuel. So how can you sustain fire pag wala nang Pag wala ng energy, wala ng heat, na-absorb na eh. Ang remaining mo na lang is fuel tsaka oxygen. Will it cause fire? The answer is no, kasi hindi po kompleto yung elemento. So cooling, ano ang mangyayari? Yung heat is absorbed. Ano ang extinguishing agent? Usually water yan. I hope understandable ha. Number 2, smothering. Ang smothering naman is extinguishment by oxygen dilution. Kukunin yung oxygen. Mawala yung oxygen. It excludes the oxygen from the fuel so that the gases or vapors of the fuel cannot ignite and continue the combustion. For example, maglagay ka nga ng gasoline sa floor, tapos sindihan mo. Of course, it could cause burning. Pag burning na yung gasoline, kukuha ka ng buhangin. 1 sack of sand, and then you pour it on a burning gasoline. Ano ang mangyari dyan? Of course, the fire created by the gasoline will extinguish. Bakit? Kasi po, nawala na yung oxygen. Naubos na eh. Ha? By putting sand, di ba a lot of instances, mga kadete, you can see this in a lot of videos. Gasoline nga, motorcycle, nagkasunog yung motorcycle. Ang ginawa, kumuha ng tubig and then you pour it, somebody pour it on the motorcycle. And instead of extinguishing the fire, it can cause the fire to progress in a faster manner. So yun. So ang gagawin is that you have to probably put a blanket in it, a fire blanket, or pag yung material, or probably on the wall, on the floor lang, burning gasoline, how will you extinguish it? Kukuha ka ngayon ng buhangin. And then you pour it. That could exclude the oxygen. So pag wala yung oxygen, ang remaining, ano na? Ang remaining is the heat at saka yung fuel. Pag heat and fuel na lang yung remaining, will it create fire? The answer again is no. Okay. So again, sa cooling, ano yung element na kinuha? Heat. Sa smothering, oxygen. Pangatlo, separation. Sa separation, ang kinuha dito, itong fuel mismo. Kaya pag nagsasaing ka by means of fire rod, the only way for you to stop the fire is you separate the fuel. So pag wala ng fuel, ubos na, o di wala ng burning. Okay, that's very easy. Next, sa chemical chain reaction, di ba sa fire tetrahedral theory, pag ang tatlong elemento walang chemical reaction or interaction with each other, walang mangyayari. So dito, nag-inhibit ka po, nag-intervene ka or nag-interfere ka, in-interrupt mo yung chemical reaction. That could cause the fire to be extinguished. So yun po ang apat natin na methods of extinguishment. Okay? Last po, methods of extinguishing the 4 classes of fire. Class A fires by quenching on cooling. Again, water is the best agent, cooling in the burning solid materials. Class B, smothering or blanketing. Ito po sabi ko kanina Blanketing, oxygen exclusion, kinuha yung oxygen. Class C, controlled by non-conducting extinguishing agent. The safest procedure is to always de-energize the electric circuit. Extinguishers that shall be used are carbon dioxide extinguishers, dry chemicals. Okay? So, yun po. For example, pag naka-plug po yung naka-plug po and then we are doing octopus connection, tapos nasusunog na yung appliances sa dulo, all you have to do is to turn off yung plangka po natin. Turn off po natin yung switch or probably you plug it off. Next, Class D fires by using special extinguishing agents marked specifically for metals. We have the GE type or dry sand and dry talc can put out Class D fires. Pag Class E naman, pag Class K naman, rather only combination of the above methods. Pag Class K po. Alright? So mga kadito, yan po ang last topic po natin. I have to put the remaining topics in episode 3 para at least po we have time to relax. Alright? Thank you so much for patronizing the Bicueno sa pag-share po ng mga videos natin. Salamat din po sa mga tumutulong, sa nag-purchase ng Bicueno book po. Marami po kayong natulungan dito sa Negros Oriental. And I'd like to appreciate po sa lahat po ng nagbigay ng personal message, nangungumusta po sa pamilya ko. Thank you so much for doing such. And to those persons who are always there since the beginning of time, even you are already a passer sa board examination, but still you are watching the videos para at least you can share to others. Maraming salamat po sa lahat and God bless po and have a nice day.